Okay guys, hello and welcome back to another floating fun with Raft. Hopefully with the return of the counter. I'm going to actively try and not use the word every 5 seconds. And that's going to take some serious time to do if this is going to be like a half hour, 45-minute video at least. There wasn't an counter last week. Purely because I had so much going on last week, I really came close to running out of time. So Friday's video was literally recorded and edited and put up maybe, you know, like in a couple of hours before it went live, basically. So sadly, I couldn't put the amount of time and effort into it because I usually have to, obviously, to do stuff like the counter, I have to watch the entire video through in real time and then keep stopping and adding the edit to change the number and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done for you today. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of myself. So anyway, where we left off, we have now got 2 water purifiers. We have got 2 of our cooking facilities. We have a couple of bits of storage. We have some nice planter boxes. We have a research table. We have a medium planter box, and we're by an island. We can actually put, and it's actually starting to get a little bit rough here. So what we're going to start off with doing is, I believe we also managed to collect everything from around here. No, we didn't. We obviously didn't start the underneath. So we'll go around here. So first little tip, guys. When I first started this game, I've probably mentioned this before, and if I go over the same stuff again, please bear with me. My memory is terrible for remembering things. But yeah, so when I first got the game, I looked at that and thought, oh no, I need the reinforced hook to get these. Not true. And I missed quite a lot of stuff off the first few islands because of this, until I discovered all you have to do is left click and just hold the left mouse button to collect the stuff from underneath. Now the difference being between this hook, which is the one you get at the start, and the reinforced one, which you can make later, is how quick it does it. So obviously you saw there it takes about 3 strikes to get everything, whereas this one takes about 3, I think. So we'll pick up a few stones because they will come. We do need stones to make the anchors. The first stone anchors you get are a one-hit wonder, so you use them, and once you've used them once, that's it. You can't reuse them again. Which, again, seems a little bit silly to me, but I can kind of see how, though, because it would make the bigger one that you can get later sort of pretty much pointless. So anyway, we're going to whiz round and check down as far as we can go. Always keep an eye on your oxygen level, guys. That will bite you in the arse if you're not careful. And we've got a crate, and keep an eye out for these sorts of type structures down underneath. They will have usually a crate in them, or there will be one nearby somewhere usually. And now, because we've been hunting, we've been drowning, but don't forget, you have, if you're playing on peaceful especially, so you don't have to worry about the shark and stuff, you have a health bar that gives you a little bit extra time if you just need to get that last little bit of salvage that you don't want to have to come all the way back up to go all the way back down just for one piece left. You can use your health bar as kind of an extra little buffer for that. So here we have some copper nodes. So obviously these you can refine later into copper ingots. And there's also standard metal ones, which are more of like a grey bluey colour, just like that one just there. You can see we're running out of oxygen, but we have got quite a few bits to get, so we'll just head back up. And this, you will find a lot of your time on the islands is taken up by swimming up and swimming down, basically, because you will always be, until you can actually start making the oxygen bottles, which will help you a little bit longer. It does make a massive amount of difference. It's not that you can, you can't stay underwater for 10 minutes at a time or whatever. It literally probably gives you maybe another 30 seconds, something like that. So we need to do this as quick as possible. Grab all the copper, and this stuff is super important to catch and store later, because you need stuff like the ingots to make the more advanced materials later on. So the more of this that we can collect at the beginning, the better. We can get on our way and collect some more stuff and maybe make our raft a little bit bigger. So we'll keep swimming up and down, up and down. The one thing I also will say is you want to be doing this in the daytime. Trying to do this at night. The items themselves sort of glow in the dark-ish. So actually finding the items isn't particularly difficult in the dark. However, navigating is. So it's more often than not you will go down and you'll find this thing and you go, alright, okay, I need some oxygen. And you'll swim up and you think you've swum straight up, but you might have twisted your mouse slightly or, you know, tapped the S or D button or whatever. And then when you swim back down again, you'll be like, oh, you're literally swimming into blackness. Like, you won't be able to see any of this until you're really, really close. It does make life a lot harder trying to navigate at night. So if there is like a full moon out, it does mitigate it somewhat. But again, you really don't want to be messing around underwater. Plus, it's also really difficult to tell how far you are from the surface. So it makes it harder to gauge what your oxygen level is going to be, because you can't see how far you go. So here, obviously, I can see roughly where the top of the island is, where the island sort of meets the water, so I know roughly. And again, I'm using my health bar a little bit more than I probably should do. And we need to eat something, so we'll go real quick. Well, and your oxygen and your health bar will build itself back up eventually, but not quick enough for you to make this a constant thing to do. So we've found some more loot at the top, so we'll get the top stuff first. We can get the... And again, you will find that you are spending an inordinate amount of time just going up and down. That's all you're going to be doing. Same as collecting stuff on your raft. You spend more time actually just sitting there trying to collect all the materials you need, as is, you know, for most what do you call it, sort of survival-ish based games, I guess. So we let our oxygen go back down, so we're not actually far off finishing this particular bit of the island. And again, you've also got to bear in mind when you're on normal difficulty, the sort of easy, when the shark and stuff start giving you grief, you spend even less time actually, but you can probably get one item per run because you're busy fighting off the shark. Unless you manage to kill the shark or drop the shark bait to start off with. But even then, the shark bait doesn't give you a massive amount of time. I personally never used it. I probably should have done. And maybe we'll see. We'll try using it this time round. Not that the shark's going to bother us, just purely as an experiment to see how much free time that actually does give us from the shark. Because you can see he's always hovering around. He just doesn't target you, but he does naturally follow your position. So he will always be able to find you, and he always knows where you are. So you'll be able to check. We'll maybe get some sight as to how much time that gives us. So that's those two. So again, like I said, guys, you're literally going to be going up, you're going down, you're going up, you're going down. That's all you're doing. As far as I know, you don't swim any faster having nothing in your hand. As far as I know. I mean, it may do, but I personally, I don't think it's any. If it is, it's not noticeable. It's quite negligible. So we'll just go. And it's starting to go foggy, and it's going to start going dark soon. So we need to pull our finger out and get this stuff as quick as possible. So we've got a nice amount of scrap down here, which is good. So we'll get as much of this as we can quickly. Get this last one, and obviously you can get, once you get the reinforced hook, obviously you collect stuff faster, so you can get more per run. Obviously we're stuck at the moment with our little plasticky one here, so I'm not going to be able to push this much further because I am starting to run out of health. Now again, you got to remember on the peaceful setting, you I can't remember if there's a tick box or not, or whether it does it automatically, but you can basically, if you die, you will respawn on your raft with everything you've collected. So if you want to push it to the point where you just stay underwater till you die, drop all your stuff off, then do it again, keep doing that. That's obviously a viable option. Me personally, I don't really like doing that, even though I am pushing my health bar to a bit of a limit doing this. And yeah, we're starting to get into danger territory now, so we're really going to have to be careful now. We have got 0 health, and the mist isn't that much of an issue because we're underwater. But we kind of need our health bar to recharge a little bit because it's making us vision funny, which right. So we're going to have to be really, really careful now. See what I mean about it going? You can see it's going dark. There's not a lot of light, so it makes it really hard to navigate and find where stuff is. I'm pretty sure it was just rat, so we don't want to worry about the rocks. We'll grab the giant clam and this little bit of scrap here, and then we'll go. And as you can see, like I said, with the darkness settling in, makes it really. Oh, hello, Mr. Shark. Makes it really, really hard to navigate. So come on, 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 come on. See, even then, so you saw I managed to pick up a clam, and I managed to pick up 1 bit of scrap. So don't get disheartened. It's just something you got to deal with. You know, all of these style games have a element of very grindy stuff at the beginning. This game does have stuff in it that will make that grind a little bit easier later on. And again, like you see, I've probably just completely missed the shelf I was going for. So it does make it ridiculously hard to navigate at night. So I think what we're going to do, we've covered enough health that we shouldn't die doing this. And we may have to keep swimming. Okay, that was too close. Right, let's make it back to our little raft here. Yep. Alright, we're also running a little bit low on water. So what we are going to do here. Also, a little tip: if you're clicking on something in your, if you just have your inventory up like that, so you can see here we've got seaweed, sand, scrap, and stone in the bottom quick bar here. If you hold left shift, it will automatically chuck it in your backpack. So that saves you dragging and dropping every time. So that's a little bit quicker. Also, if you are putting stuff in boxes, especially if there's stuff in there already, that helps. It will, if you hold left shift again, it will automatically add it to that pile until it gets to 20 or whatever its maximum number is, and then it will start on the next box. So as you can see there, that just added the clay to that. The sand, we've got 14 and 6. There you go, bang, done. Seaweed, again, so we are running out of room. So let's stick our next. No, let's not do that. And we're going to have to. We are going to have to make our raft a bit. So yeah, our raft is not quite optimized just yet. Crap in there. And it makes a lot of odds, but still. So we've got a little bit more. So right now, we've done the top half of the island. We've kind of a bit stuck because we can't really do much else. So we're going to do a little bit of food prep. Take our potatoes and we'll eat these. And then grab our cup. Water, and then top that back up. Drink that water. That back up, so that's going, and we're going to need wood to keep our fires going. So meanwhile, what we'll do is we will do a little bit of harvesting as well. So 3 potatoes back in. Again, we are far from optimized, guys, but you just kind of have to deal with what you've got right now. So we'll stick a raw meat on there, and that's cooking. We'll bung the rest in those, and just keep an eye on your planks. Make sure that everything's popped up as it needs to be. Again, that. Try and build your water sources like near the edge of the water. You'd be amazed at how far you can actually like look and still be able to grab water. So it will just make doing things like this much easier. Even when you've got a really big raft and say like you have your water in the middle, just have like a hole in the ground. Like you can rope it off, it's fine. You'll still be able to drop water backwards and forwards into it to make it happen a bit quick. We're going to kind of leave the melon. Actually, no. Melons are relatively unique in the fruit that they are the only ones that you can eat twice. So you take a bite out of each one, basically. And that can go in there. I don't think we've got any other seeds. So we'll got to top up our water there. Take that one and water that. That's that on the go. So what we can do right now is we don't have a massive amount of material, so we can't really expand our raft. What we can do is we can just kind of swim around a bit. We don't have to worry about the shark. Again, if you've got a shark attacking you, this is not a good thing to do. But we're on peaceful, so we can do it anyway. We can... I will say this as well, if it's foggy, not a good idea doing this, because you'd be amazed at how quick you lose track of where your raft is, and especially sometimes the fog can last a long time, and if you've jumped out with, like, say your food and water bar maybe half full, it's a very real possibility that you will cark it before you can actually figure out where the hell your raft has gone. As it is, we're kind of not, we're a little bit away away. So we're just going to swim about, pick up all this stuff as much as we can. Maybe we'll be able to build, but make our raft a little bit more bigger, Make it bigger. English, my first language. You wouldn't have thought of it, would you? Right. Anyway, quick panic check, and as knowing my luck, I've been recording for 20 minutes with the microphone switched off. Yeah, so we'll just swim back on. And then we kind of want to wait for the daylight cycle just to finish getting those last couple of bits of stuff from underneath, and then we can get going again and start giving our raft a bit. And also, don't worry, the raft will not tip over. It doesn't matter how stupidly large you make the ramps, they will just stay there. Not going to disappear, so don't panic about making sure your raft is balanced or anything along those lines. You could literally make that a mile long and it won't affect it. For now, I think that might be something balancing physics might be something they add into the game later on. I'm not entirely sure. But for the moment, you don't really have to worry about it. I'm not, because especially on one of my other playthroughs, my raft would be so ridiculously imbalanced it wouldn't even be funny. There's like a big bunch of trees that's just sat on one side of the raft, so the thing would just flip immediately. But there we go. So we'll just go around here. It's starting to get daylight, so we'll grab this last little batch of stuff over here. And remember, guys, you are going to have to call it at some point. You are going to have to go, right, I've swum far enough. There will always be something in the water that's just beyond reach. You are just going to have to remember you're not going to be able to grab everything. So just get to a point where the raft is just kind of starting to go a little bit out of view range now. So now we're going to head back. We'll go in a little bit more wider route here. Pick up anything that's loose. So there, weather's picking up and our raft's taking a bit of a battering, but it's fine. It won't flip, so it's nothing to worry about. Nothing floods. The sea doesn't put the fires out or contaminate your crops or anything like that. So again, you don't really have to worry about it. And we'll get back here, drop this stuff off, quickly whiz down underneath, make sure there's else we missed. Quickly, yeah, we'll pick up our beets because we used, so we need to start making a supply of cooked food. Always nice to have a little buffer of something, so when you have realised you have forgotten to do it. And we've got a spare hook anyway, so that's good. So those are all on the go. We should be alright for food, so we'll dive back in. Start working. No, I think we were back here. Oh look, more scrap. And more copper ore. So this is good, because this is like right close to the surface, so we haven't got to worry too much about our oxygen to start with. But yeah, once you get the reinforced hook, it does make this sort of thing much easier. You can get more out of each journey even without the oxygen bottle, because you can collect the stuff faster because you're only using one swipe of your hook as opposed to sort of 3, which is... So, yeah, so going down here. I might have to add a so counter in at the rate I'm going, because I've noticed I've been saying that a lot lately as well. But then that's not just me. I've noticed if you actually watch a lot of people, they get asked a question, like YouTube, or even if they're like being interviewed on the news, they usually start the sentence with so. Don't know why. You know, they'll say something and go, "What do you think of the current?" And they'll go, "So." What are that? And it's really odd. Once you start paying attention to all that sort of stuff, it's amazing how much it happens without you noticing it. Yeah, I think the counter is just gonna have to make a comeback, because that was quite amusing, and you guys seem to like it, so it does massively increase the production time of the video, because obviously for the most part I could literally just record this and stick it straight up on YouTube without virtually any editing at all, but obviously something like the counter requires me to sit there for the full length of the video and then some time to sort of be fiddling around with stuff. So, but if you guys enjoy it, then that's something I want to do, because I want you guys to enjoy the content. I want you guys to enjoy watching it and come back for more. So anything I can do to facilitate that happening, check me out. I've been chewing a dictionary, and I can hear my daughter crying in the background, so there's probably going to be a quick cut here, guys, while I go and see what's going on with that. Okay, guys, and we're back. Sorry about that. The kids just basically banged heads together while they were around on the sofa. So, if you ever sort of like sit watching any of these videos and sort of see any weird cuts or anything, it's basically because obviously I've got my 2 kids. It's the summer holidays, so the amount of the free time that I kind of had while my daughter was at preschool and my son was at school, when I'd usually do my recording, and I'd have a couple of hours straight where I could just concentrate on doing that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have that till late September, so I've kind of just got to record. I don't want to stop making videos until September, so I kind of just need to fit it in as and when. So yeah, I've probably explained this before. I can't remember if I have, so sorry for that. And I know there is a particular person that keeps having a go at me for saying sorry for everything. I can't help it. You know who you are. Peggy! Anyway, so we need to find that shelf that we were at before, which I think was round here somewhere. Yes, so that was... Now, usually there is a box or a crate or something near these buildings. I'm kind of a little bit miffed that there isn't one. So, right, now we've found where we are. We'll go back up and get some oxygen. I don't think there's a lot left, but even if it's like 1 or 2 scrap, for me personally, it's worth the time involved to get it, because especially this early on, stuff like scrap is used an awful lot. You need it for nails and stuff like that, which you need to build stuff. And there's probably going to be another cut in a second. Okay, so there's a bit of a cut. My son was talking to me while I was doing something, so we did collect the last couple of bits. So what we are going to do now is chuck them in where we can. That's pretty much it. So that's going to have to go in there, and that's going to have to. So more potatoes, which we're going to have to eat, because we are running out of health. No, we're not. We're running out of... you know what I mean. We're hungry. So let's get that done. Stick that in there. And then we need to... some more buds on the go. We need some more wood as well to add to planks. 3... Wood is one of the main ones you're always never going to have enough, because so much stuff requires it. And honestly, I think we are now at a point where we can say goodbye to our first little island. So remember where the anchor is. And I guess away we go. Bye-bye, island. Bye-bye. Okay. Meanwhile, we can do some more Harvesting. That. Oh, is it raining? Huh. Must be raining. There's another little thing, guys. Again, I can't remember if I've said it or not, but if you do your planting while it's raining, it automatically waters your crops for you. So if you've got a load of crops, or you've got a lot, and it's you still only have the cup or whatever, do all whiz around and do as much of your planting as you possibly can while it's raining. The rain doesn't affect any of the fires or anything, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah, we're kind of a bit of a loss right now, really, because there's not really any loot appearing, which is a little bit frustrating, but there we go. There's not a lot we can do about that, so we've got two of those. Oh, excuse me. So cooked food, and yeah, we want to try and get as much of this food cooked off as we can, and I've just realised we're starting to get stuff. Okay, now the loot's coming in. Now we're starting to get it right. Okay. So we just need to collect as much of this as possible, and kind of want to prioritise wood. And barrels, obviously. Oh, if we see them, and not fall off the edge of our raft, because that will be a pain. Get up on the raft. Right. Ooh, is that a barrel? It is. That bit of plastic. Another thing I hope they kind of change is scalable collecting things. So like that bit of plastic was quite large compared to some of the other bits that you pick up. So I personally think you should be able to find, like, things that are worth 1 plastic, 2 plastic, 3 plastic, likewise logs, scrap, etc. That'd be nice. So you can upgrade from collecting like one little. You're constantly considering later on in the game the amount of materials you need to, build what you want. The having to pick one of everything up at a time can get a little bit tedious. But we seem to be having an abundance of barrels. There's obviously a Spanish galleon that's sunk around here somewhere, which is good. We like barrels. Barrels are good. Another one over there. So for the minute, I think we're just going to collect some stuff. And get that barrel, and then we'll see what we can do about some upgrades for our raft. Just get some more of that on the go. Ooh, missed. I love the way that the hook just like stays in place, doesn't move. Get that barrel. Yes. Got a load of plastic coming this way. Sometimes the pickup button doesn't quite always work when you want it to. Sometimes it's you have to be like right on a specific part of the item for it to actually work. So I think what we can probably do right now is maybe make our raft a little wider. So do we have? It's not any. We have some plastic. We don't have that right now. We also want to keep cooking. Need that going. That last bit. Again, you want to balance your wood consumption to sort of how wide you want to make the raft. So what have we got here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I find I usually find a nice rule of thumb is probably, if you're going to go for like just a square raft, sort of 20-sided is good for future planning, and you'll see why in a minute, hopefully. I'll show you. I just kind of want to grab some of this stuff. Is that a couple of barrels I see in the... so what is that? 12, 13, 14, 15. Go 5 that way. Oh. And another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that way. So that gives us a nice... Sorry, Lenny. And... also, again, I can't remember if I've mentioned it, but you can just use buttons 1 through 10, 1 through 0 to access your quick inventory as well on the bottom there. Now, there's a reason why I'm going this wide with the Raft, and I will show you why in a second if I'm able to build one. I can't remember if we researched it yet or not, but I'm just going to get these barrels first because I don't want to miss out on them while I'm doing the other things. And doing this particular method this particular way will use up more resources than maybe some other methods other people use. Me, I kind of like stuff to be a bit symmetrical. I like things to be even. So when I make a raft, it's usually square. And there are, like I said, there are other methods to doing this, and that are easier, that consume less resources, but this is basically how I prefer. But obviously everything is up to your own interpretation. So I don't think we... oh, what do I need? We need to make a nail. That's for incoming barrels, so we do need the scrap metal. So nail. Need to research said nail. Lose one of our items. There we go. There we go. So mounting boards that we're not really worried about. That is what we're after, the collection net. This will make your life so much easier later on. It's a bit of a ball ache to start with. I don't know why I just wasted that. And... okay, so we've got barrels incoming. And again, guys, you are going to kind of have to balance picking stuff up to actually building stuff, because you could literally just stand here all day collecting. And you still won't collect everything, so you got to remember that you are not going to be able to collect everything. Stuff is going to pass you by. You know, you've got to let that go. You cannot just stand here constantly. I mean, you can if that's what you want to do, great. But if you want to progress and you actually, you know, do anything with it, then you need to go, right, okay, now I need to stop. I need to actually start making stuff. I usually do it in between. So if there's a load of barrels coming. So what we want to do is we want to make collection net. Bang. And we kind of want to make as many of these as we possibly can. So I don't know how many other fern leaves we have, so one of those, bang. Can we make another one? No, we need a little bit more fern. And of course, no fern leaves. Typical. Need another nail. So fern leaves is what we want. And there's one. Enough. And we need to eat. Fine, we've got some beets to eat. And we've got some raw potatoes as well, which is good. Stick them on. This is it. It's so easy to get caught up in doing things that you completely lose track of everything. So these are the collection nets. You can rotate them, and basically the way they work is you stick it in like that. That net collects at the back, and then bang. So my usual plan is I usually put about 20 along one side, and then I'll work on doing 20 on the next side and the next side, because what will happen, your raft doesn't always travel in the same direction. If you knock into an island, it will change the direction. If the wind is going a different direction, it will make your raft travel in the different direction. So if you can like basically make a four-sided square where the nets are on all four sides, then you don't really miss a lot, and it makes life so much easier. It doesn't seem it now because we've only got two, but once we've basically filled up one side, it makes it so easy to collect resources. And I see an island over there, and I've also realised that we don't have another stone anchor, which we kind of need to do. Throwable anchor, we need 2 more stones. So we definitely need that. That's probably going to stop us from making any more. But we've got 3 barrels incoming. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to swim out and grab these. And then we'll head for that other island. Hopefully the wind will take us there. Yeah, we might be able to get some more stuff done. So let's swim over here, grab this. Also, guys, that's what I also meant to ask. Regarding the length of the videos, would you prefer these in smaller chunks, sort of like 20 minutes, but me doing like a lot less? Or would you prefer, you know, the sort of 45 minutes, an hour, you know, to see a bit more? Obviously, I appreciate that sitting here watching me play Raft, you know, for hours and hours and hours online at a time may not be the most. I mean, obviously, if you're getting something from it, you know, and you're learning stuff, which is what I'm kind of hoping, then, you know, great. But, you know, I need your guys' input. I need to know what you guys want me to do with regards to that. You know, what the sort of thing that you're looking for in that respect. So we have got a paddle. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Discord and just say, look, you know, video length is fine. We like 45-minute videos. We like half-an-hour videos. We'd like to see you do more. So an hour would be better. Whatever. Just let me know. Because my whole job here is to entertain you. You know, I can play this on my own all day. Fine. You know, I want to sort of make a, you know, I want to make something that people are going to learn from. People are going to enjoy watching. So you know, I need your guys' input for that. So if you could let me know what the sort of thing you want, that would make life easier for me, and it helps if you paddle in. So we're going to make a head over to this island. Not particularly big island, but it's a couple of trees on there. Might be some good scrap underneath. These paddles wear out way too quick. And what's funny is it doesn't matter how big your raft is, the one sail will push it, and the one paddle will move it. Doesn't matter. The raft I've got in one of my other grants is absolutely massive, and yeah, it just like one tiny little paddle, and I can move the whole thing at the same speed as I'm moving this. So don't worry about not being able to, you know, worrying about not being able to move it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get our ramp sort of ish there, and we kind of need, we're fighting against our sail now, so we need to stop that, and we need to go back this way. We need our ramp over that island. We're fighting against the current now, this is why it's taking longer. Hopefully our... that'll do. Actually, no it won't. But never mind. Oh, we've collected a piece of wood. Okay, so what we shall do now is stick the raw potatoes on, get them cooking. We need to have a drink. That up, and we pull that up. Bank on there. Harvest. Harvest. Up there. That's 1, 3. So we are starting to get a little bit of a stockpile of food, but not a massive amount. What we'll probably do is we'll use the fruit because it's just there. It's taking up space. We may as well just keep it. Fruit doesn't go off, by the way. Food doesn't go off in the boxes. Regardless of whether it's cooked or uncooked, it just sits there. Again, for now, whether that changes in a future update, I can't say. But for the moment, it doesn't matter whether the food is cooked. It doesn't matter whether it's raw. It doesn't matter whether it's fruit or whatever. It will just sit there. So it doesn't matter. So you don't worry about not wanting to put too much in because it'll go off. It won't. So food is like the main thing you're going to need to survive. So it's one thing you kind of want to make sure you're topped up on for the most part. So we're going to eat these 2 potatoes. And we're going to drop so 1 more. Yes, we can. That in the middle, and then for the rest of it, just going to have to chuck it. No, we can't, because we're out of room again. And we can't make hinges or anything just yet, so we're going to have to do... Can we get up? Yes, we can. The watermelons. Drop down these trees. Now, don't be tempted, unless you're in creation mode, to try and build your raft around an island. If you find a really nice island, you think, yeah, we're going to set up a... It's going to be very, very difficult for you to maintain, purely because one of the main things you need to build, like plastic, only really get from the water. A lot of resources, you can build plots to grow your own trees, but they take time, and it's one of them things that it's doable, but it will get to a point where you actively cannot find the resources you need to carry on, because it's basically floating. It's in the water, so it's not the sort of so as far as I know, the end game isn't find a sufficiently big island and build a base on it. You can't build on islands, so that's another thing to consider. So right now, yeah, we can't make it rope. Right. We've got a little bit of wooden stuff, and we actually have thing we can do. So these, what you have to do is you make them. So you use the sand and the clay that you mine from the little things under the little nodules, whatever they're called, underneath. And when you combine them together, you make wet bricks. So what you have to do is you have to just basically make them, and then they start out wet, and then you stick them out to dry, and then after X period of time they're dry. Job done. One thing we have neglected to do, following my own advice, is we haven't made spares. So at this minute right now we don't have a bolt, so that's fine. So we haven't got a spare plastic hook. We need to make one. We haven't got a spare paddle, so we can make one. And honestly, I'd love to make a fishing rod, but we haven't got the rope right now. So we've got that. So we don't really need a spare spear. I don't know what. And we could probably do the spare stone axe as well. That. And everything we don't need is going in there. For the most part, apart from the spear. Wood can go there. We may as well keep the food on us. And we can scrap in there actually. So we've got spares of things for the moment. We're not at massive island, so we don't need a massive we don't need to worry about running out of space right now. Okay, so top half of the island done. We're going to... Those aren't ready to harvest yet. These are in, so we need... Again, I'm always trying to keep on top of the cooking. Probably better off putting the wood in. Thanks. Thanks on there. Those aren't ready to harvest yet. That is, but honestly, I don't really want to. And what we can do, I know I said don't do this at night, but a lot of this stuff is fairly shallow. The moon's full, so we can at least do the top section of this bit here and not worry too much about it. So we can do all so as you can see, like, the stuff glows. So when it's relatively close to the surface, at least you can find stuff like really easily. Seaweed is another one you want to keep a nice little backlog of, because when you refine seaweed later, the product it makes enables you to make so much stuff that again, is usually in a short supply. So try and keep on top of your seaweed collection. Always gather it. And this is the thing, like, apart from one or two things that don't really have a lot of use, typical example, the giant clams, as far as I'm aware, the only use they have right now is to help make birds' nests, and that's it. I've actually got a crate that's got 40 of the things in, because I just genuinely have no other use for them. I haven't come across anything else I can use them for yet. So, you know, giant clams you don't need to go mad for. I mean, unless you want hundreds of birds' nests on your raft, then crack on. But for the most part, you don't need to worry about clams. Rocks, again, they have a limited use later on. But again, you don't need to go mad with massive amount. Like, keeping sort of 10, for the most part, lying around 10 or 20. Like, you know, one stack will more than see you through, and just top that up as you use it. And again, everything in the late game, once you've got your raft where you want it to be, and you've got all the stuff that you want, everything becomes superfluous. Then it's just a matter of, do you want to keep collecting? Me, I actually enjoy collecting, hoarding, making the storage, building, and I'm always coming up with ideas of what I want to do in my raft, so I'm always needing more raw materials to do that. So that's that's part of the fun of it for me, is the going around collecting. The underwater bit is not so much fun for me. That I personally feel that needs a little bit of work, because especially when you're playing it on a difficulty that involves the shark, it makes if you're playing on your own, it makes the underwater collection so tedious and time consuming for very, very little gain. Unless you've killed the shark, and then you've got the sort of 4 minutes gratis or whatever it is before he respawns. But also, bear in mind, you've also got seagulls attacking your crops. So you have to keep going back and checking that all the time, or you have to waste time by harvesting all your crops, then going off. And there's very specific circumstances to get a decent collection run. Underneath, you'd kind of have to collect all of your harvestable plants so the seagull doesn't attack it. Then you'd have to kill the shark or use the shark bait, again depending on how long that will give you, in order to have maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes of unrestricted collection time. I don't know, it needs a little bit of work. It's not quite as enjoyable. I would say enjoyable, but it's not quite as streamlined collection wise as some of the other stuff are. I mean, there's enough time consuming micromanagement stuff in the game already without and considering so much of the stuff you need is underwater, which obviously is the point of the game, but it's kind of the game is making it, I don't know, I mean, the argument could be said that, yeah, the important stuff is underwater, thus it is harder to get to. That's why, it takes... But then there's a balance to be had between making it harder and just the sheer volume of time taken to collect stuff. I mean, I'm not doing too bad at the minute because the stuff is relatively close, but when you get to the bigger islands, you know, you can spend 20 minutes just diving backwards and forwards to the same spot, because you just, even with the flippers and the oxygen bottle, you just cannot spend enough time underwater in order to collect the stuff. Okay guys, another quick cut, purely because Becca's got this annoying habit of finding every box of stuff that she can find and literally upends it on the floor and then just walks away. So I've literally gone in to check on the kids, and there's like 4 boxes of stuff all over the living room. You can't see the living room floor at the moment, so I am going to have to call it there. The video's probably, by the time I do the edits and stuff, should be a reasonable length. I think we've got some good stuff done today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. By all means, if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, anything you want to see me do or not do in the videos, please let me know. I can't make my content better without your guys' help, so please do that. Don't forget to leave a rating. And I'm looking at I don't know why I'm looking over there. Leave a rating. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you want to get notified sooner. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on Twitch either. Link will be down in the description below. And that's kind of it. So last before we get to the end. And thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Bye bye.